So I'm starting with a color here, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to go up here to my window because that's where all my palettes live. It's actually right here because I already have it here. But window, because all our palettes live under window. And we go down here to color guide. And there it is. Okay. So I'm going to select this color. Let's make it a different color. And what you're looking at over here is it'll suggest palettes to you, okay, which is very helpful. So I've got this swatch selected. So right now, so you're looking left side shades, right side tints, okay? I'm going to simplify this. Right here on this drop-down menu, you probably recognize some of these from color theory, okay? Monochromatic, analogous, complement, split complementary. Now I'm just going to go to complementary. There's my complementary colors, blue and orange, okay? Gives me my shades and my tints. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I love that I know this is going to sound really lame, but I always love this. I love monochromatic because it just bam gives me my monochromatic palette. I don't have to figure it out and do shit. I just start pulling those colors, right? And there's a lot of times where I'm doing monochromatic stuff. So on and so forth, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could come in here. By the way, this is also just a good idea starter. Okay, I might come in here and just go, I like this blue, what goes with it? And that does not mean you don't have to know your color theory, you do, but this is a great workflow tool, okay? Then I could come down here and go to, let's go to this compound too, and get an idea for a palette. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, I can go to none. I don't want to do that. Edit colors, save colors of swatches. Okay, now. There it is. So I just said save colors of swatches. Do you see in my swatch palette now? There's a group right here. That's the swatch or the palette I just made. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So now when I start pulling these colors, I can just come in here and any color I pick out of here, I know is in that color world based on whatever I pick. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really handy tool, you guys. I want to talk about type a little bit. So let's put this on Blackwood. And I'm going to click my type tool right here. And I made it, got to hold shift, constrain it. Now, double click that. I'm going to go to right up here now. I can either go up here for my type controls, right? This is going to be an abbreviated version. Here's my paragraph information. Oh, I want to talk about a line too. I'll talk about that. And transform, I'm not worried about. If I go to, or my character palette, which is going to have more stuff, okay? So from here, I could go, I can make this bigger. And then I could take these and I could let it, the distance. I could go right here, drop it back to auto. Let's go back to normal. I can go here and let them out. Actually, it's turning. This is turning. The other one's lighting. Okay, so you just have those kind of controls there. You also have like Let's go right here to the flyout and go show options. Now I got more stuff here. So the flyout menu will have less options or more options, okay? And all of them have flyout menus. So then you can see here, these are more kind of specific little tools. I'll have like superscript, I'll have drop caps, I'll have all that stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So right here, I'm gonna put gastropub. Let's do, there's that one, there's that one. Let's do that. Okay. So let's go. Let's just take this. Let's go back to where we were. That's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so look, so you have different options here if I hold down the flyout menu, okay? And I'm gonna go to my pen tool. And I'll just do it. And I'm gonna go back to my, so that one we're just on is just our type tool, okay? I'm gonna come out here to type on a path. I'm gonna go right here and click right on that path, right in that crosshairs, and it puts it on my path. There'll be a handle here somewhere. That's weird. There's no handle. That's weird. It doesn't have my handle. Oh, wait a minute. Let's try something. There actually should be a handle here. That's a little weird. Oh, there's one. And I can, so I had to get my wide arrow tool. I forgot, okay? So I can do that. I usually can pull it. I don't know if I can do it with type. Let's see. Yeah, pull it upside down. Okay. We could go. Go here. Grab my little thing. And I could line it up. Make sense? By the way, when I change this, a lot of times, I think I might have already said this, when I change the color, a lot of times I'll just go, here's my color, now it's there. There's a bunch of ways to do this. But right there, boom. Now just change it. So you get to still pick your color. Or I could go here, because we're just talking about color. So that one thing was your color, let's get the name of it, is your color theme, color guide. Up here, you also have just your general color tools. In this case, we're in CMYK. So you have CMYK breakdown. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if I move these, I'm going to change the colors. You see it over here reflected in my foreground swatch, okay? Go over here, so on and so forth, okay? Or I could come down here and pick. And this is your hex key color, okay? So if I go into, let's say I go, I really like this color. Here's your hex code down here. I can go into pretty much any program, but let's go to Photoshop. New window. Create. And right here, I'm going to double click this. Right here, there's that hex key again. And I'm going to go Control V. And that's the exact same color I just created in the other one. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I use it all the time in video because I can do the same thing in Premiere. Okay. Oh, why? So you got the color picker just like you do in any program. That's your hex code. The hex code is just really useful, especially going across different programs. But it's also just useful in this program by itself. Okay. Okay, so all that makes sense? Okay, so here's another one. Let's go here. I don't want to use that one. So I'm going to click. Let's get rid of this. I'm going to click on the pasteboard with my tool selected, my star tool, because I don't want that many points. So I'm going to go 5. Standard star. Now it'll give me Lipsimorum. It shouldn't. Now I'm going to go fly out area type tool. And it automatically fills that shape with my typing. Let's do this. Let's go here. There's this Lipsum generator here. You can go here. Which is just Greek type when you need, you know, to mock something up. It looks like it has paragraphs, but you don't have a copy yet. So I'm going to go just grab all those. Go here to my area type tool. There it is. What's weird is sometimes you can grab the T over here and it'll let you shrink it. I'm going to go real small. Too small. Maybe about there. You know, and it'll just put it in the shape of whatever it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, if you notice here, it's too spaced, right? So I might come in here and get it a little tighter. And then I'd also might go maybe right here to paragraph, right there, and go center. Now we got a center fill. Make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Vertical type tool. Just does what it says. Okay, just makes type vertically. How do you feel about that, Hall?
I am pretty weird.
Okay. So you own it.
I do own it.
Here's a vertical area type tool. So that's the same thing as the one we just used, except it's going to put everything in it vertically. Okay. Vertical type on a path tool. So it's going to lay the type down like you see it in the thing. And I'll get to the other one later. Okay, does all that make sense? Those are your type tools. Yes?
Wait, but what is the difference between vertical type tool and the regular path tool.
There, you mean this one, which one? This
So
one?
there's type on the path tool and there's vertical.
Because I
type
think if I
on-
put this one, I never use it, but if I put this one. It's gonna lay it down on it.
That's my insulin regulator.
Nice try.
See,
Oh, okay.
just lays it down. So let's take a paragraph here. Let's see if I can make a paragraph. Now here's another thing. If I just take the type tool, if I just do this and I create type, it's just gonna be, you know, all over the place, right? If I take the type tool and instead of just clicking and then writing type and I pull it like that and I pull a box or something, it's gonna fill it automatically. Okay. And then I could go here, left justify it. I love Adam here. That's Adam. So anyway, if you drag just the regular type tool, it'll create a text block and just you'll have a text block. Okay. And then if I take this and I move it, it will fill to whatever space I need it to fill to. Make sense? Paula?
Yeah. Makes sense.
I can go like here, I can go change case and I can go uppercase and it changes everything to uppercase. I can go, but let's go back to uppercase. Let's go type, because all your type tools are under type. Change case, uppercase. Type, change case, lowercase. Type, change case, title case. It's going to capitalize all those letters, right? Type, change case, sentence case, or it's just going to capitalize things after periods and things like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, I have live type right now. I might have said this before, I'm going to say it again. If I'm going to send this to, if I'm sending the final, this is the final. And I don't care, I don't want, you know, I don't care about them changing the type. They're like, no, we're done. It's done. Just send us the final, whatever. Then I'm going to probably come up here and go type, create outlines. And now this is just, it's not active type anymore. It's just a bunch of shapes. So when I send this to somebody, they don't need the typeface. Does that make sense? Because these are just a bunch of shapes.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know how you showed us, I think it was like in a package when we export it
Yeah.
or save it?
Yeah.
When we save it in the package, is it gonna say the type that it is?
Yes. It'll save your typefaces.
It will?
Yeah.
Like all the ones that are on the screen or all the ones that we like try to use?
No, all the ones that are in that document.
Even after they're created as outlines?
Well, if they're not there anymore, it's not going to do it.
Oh, okay. So once we create an outline is like no
If I
longer
create an
type anymore.
outline and my original type is gone, then there's no type for it to save.
Okay, that makes sense.
So another place I can go to my fonts right there. I can go there. I can go over here, right here, or I can go right up here in my control bar. I just option, drag that, constrain with the shift key, and I'm just going to let go of it. Command Control D. For duplicate. So let's make these different colors. Probably have too many there, but I won't. There you go. So I'm going to select all of these. And up here, this is these little symbols are your alignment tools, which also have their own palette, like everything else. Align. And here's your palette for it. Okay. I'm going to use this up here. And they're kind of self-explanatory. This one, everything's butted to the left. So I'm going to click this. Boom, lines them all up on the left. This lines them all up right down the center. You can see that center axis right there. This one goes to the other side. This one goes to the top. This one goes horizontally lined up. This one lines up on the bottom. These we'll get to in a little bit. Does that make sense? So there's this thing called Adobe Color Wheel. So if you just type in Adobe Color Wheel, it'll come up. And there it is. Now, it's sort of similar to the tool in Illustrator. But like I could come in here, I could click this little where it says change color. And I could go, let's go to here. Let's just double click this. And I'm going to get the hex code here. Command C, cancel. I'm just going to change this. Now it's yellow. If you notice, everything else changed because once you put a color in, everything's relating to that color, just like you did in the color theme in Illustrator. Okay. Now I can also, it's right here, set as base color. I can do things like that. I can come down here and I can tweak colors here on these sliders. I can come up here and I can move these around and they will change in relation to each other. Okay. Now, right now I'm on custom. Let's go to analogous. So now they're all analogous colors. Okay. I can go to complementary and you get this palette down here. Now I can go to save, and that save is going to save it in my Adobe, Photoshop, whatever I'm in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does
Save
it,
it in my Adobe library. Say it again.
does it save it to your like palettes bar?
It saves it to your library thing.
Just your library?
Yeah, I think so. Because usually I just screen grab it because I don't really care that much. I just screen grab it. But yeah, I think it saves it to your library.
I have a question. If you save it to your library, how do you pull it up like an Illustrator, for instance? Okay.
Yeah. It should be giving me some options here, though. Let's see if we can just go. Let's try and save it. So that's where it used to save it. I remember it. Well, it was added to Mike. So I've already made a custom. I've made a custom library called Mike. That's where it saved it. Okay, I'll go over that because I got to remember how to do it because I actually hardly ever use it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here it is. It's in this. Make sense?
Yes.
That's where it
Yeah.
saved it. So it saves it in your libraries. And at some point I made a library called Mike. Even though I hardly ever use it. I use it so much I didn't even know where it was. Okay. Let's go back. This used to live, I'm pretty sure this lived in Illustrator and Photoshop, but then they put it into a web format for whatever reason, which is fine. So, I got all these different ways that I can tweak my color and get different palettes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, here's what I like it for. I'll give you a good example of this. I might have said this before, but like if one time I was working on a fall product, I was walking through the forest, I go through and I start focusing on textures, lichen, algae on trees, all these interesting textures and colors, really beautiful colors. I was going up with my phone. I was just taking these almost like swatch pictures. I had my phone on square and I would just take little swatches of these things as inspiration. Okay. So if I go, if I find something like in this case, if I'm doing a whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. And I like the vibe of that. Okay. If I'm just looking around for color ideas, I go, I really like that. Then I can go here to extract theme. Why they called it that, I don't know. And I can go here. Makes me a palette out of that idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
That is a handy thing. Okay, because anything that's inspiring you can just make a palette out of it. I can move these dots, and that'll sort of change certain colors in it. I can come here and go bright. It'll pick all the bright colors. Muted, deep, dark, and then none. I don't know what none is. And colorful. I'm on colorful right now. That's a cool thing. And then I can save that to my library. Make sense?
Yeah.
One of the other ones would be for a fall thing. I get instant fall palette. Right? That just saved me an hour and a half of work. Or if not more. You can see my screen, right?
yeah.
So this little poster thing, did it for KBCC. This is John. He's the host of the show, or was the host of the show. I've got a mask over here just to show me the border. Okay. I'll take it off for now. See what I did? And
Oh,
it's
okay.
a frame around it, so I can see, I can turn that on and off. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to unlock. You know, let's see this. All right. The object. Off-ramp used to go all around LA, all over Southern California, and it was like one of those kind of shows. So it's him parachuting in, blah, blah, blah. Back here, City Hall, up here. These are all things that related to stories that had done. The space shuttle, he flew on this plane, all this stuff, right? And this was Angeline, who drives around in that pink Corvette and all that stuff, right? But if you look at this stuff, by the way, this outline around him, that line, that's actually, let's go unlock. Ungroup, because this is all group.
Is that the offset to it that you showed us that 2 days ago?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So it's just another silhouette. That makes sense?
Mhm.
So what I did is I took this whole figure. I took this whole figure. I made sure all my lines were outlined. Went object, path, outline, stroke. Then I went to my Pathfinder. And I went to the Unite filter. And I just kind of combined everything. And then I just took this. Let's do this. Let's make sure that all the it should have combined all of them. Normally it does. Yeah, I don't need. And then all I did was I took this whole shape, which normally is just a shape like this. And I just went object, path, offset path, and there it is. And I just set how wide I wanted. That was it. Okay. Now, if you go to here, I'm using some line, okay, here and there, on top of my flat shapes. But this whole thing is doll parts. My little paper cutouts. And you can see I use line in the hair, flat, and then
Yeah.
line.
It's a lot of detail.
It's no detail, it's all just big flat shapes. Just
A lot of
a lot of shapes, but that's about it. There's my shadow. Here's my shadow under here. You know, so on and so forth.
So now I have a question. And this might, well, I guess it just comes to experience, I guess. But my question is, it seems like Illustrator is mostly about being graphic and stylized. But how do we get to that?
In what way?
Like as students, how do we start stylizing is what I'm trying to say. Because you know how, like, for example, in your so in your sketching for illustrators class, like
Yeah.
we're seeing things where it's more observational.
Well, it's a
So
little
how do we
both.
take
Toward the
that?
end, towards the end, it's both.
Yeah, but then how do you kind of like take that and put it into Illustrator?
Hang on. Okay, I'll show you. Real quick. So here's a mechanical object. It's all grouped, object, ungroup. Started with, let's ungroup it. Sometimes you gotta ungroup it a few times. Started with silhouette. Okay,
Okay.
in this case. Then I just put the shadow value and I cut that out of this shape. So I could just come in here and go, go to my intersect, get rid of this one. Look at a darker value. That's a wrong value, but let's just do it. And I'll just darken it here. There's my shadow value, right?
Yeah.
Then you just start pulling all this apart. You can see the whole thing's done like that.
Oh, okay.
Is it kind of like what you told us about how a lot of people reuse the same shapes over and over again, just in different ways?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's a very efficient program.
Yeah, I think maybe I or we or whatever just make it more complicated, like overthink it.
That's everybody. Everybody does that with everything. Just you want to always try to look, if you're trying to make yourself employable, you want to be efficient, okay? And you also want to get from point A to point B with the least amount of nonsense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Overthinking stuff, and I know we all do it, and it's something when you're a new student or young student or whatever, new to the business or whatever, you just got to learn how to do that. It's just something you have to learn how to do. That's all. Okay. And it's training your mind. And it's not, and here's the other thing. Once you do this stuff after a while, you're just going to develop your own techniques and stuff. So don't ever go, any class you're in, whether it's this one or any other class, don't ever go, oh, well, we said that class, you have to do it like this. No, I'm showing you a way of doing it, but you're going to figure out your own ways of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you guys can see this is just a conglomeration of shapes, right? This stuff, these bushes, I pulled out of an old illustration from years before this, okay? Okay, so here's where we can start to talk about what Paula just said. this City Hall back here started at lunch, it was a doodle. Okay, so that's as far as I went with it, because that's all I really need. Okay. Then I brought it in here just like it is now. And I just made my shapes. I just started building my shapes right over it. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
I just built my shapes right over it. Because in this case, I'm confident enough, I've been doing it long enough where I don't have to clean up the drawing. Sometimes you do. You know, if I was going to do this and it was really serious or whatever, I might do that. I probably would. Okay. But it was fine for this. These are simple shapes, you know, they're not that hard.
So we're basically kind of doing like sketches of what you want us to do.
Yeah, I just want them like, I don't know if I have. Might have the street here. I got a car coming up over the thing. And I'm literally just gonna do this. Here's my car. Maybe it's convertible, the hands are up in the air for whatever reason. You know, they're coming over the hill. It's a street thing, maybe there's a stop sign here. This has nothing to do with the business, but. I got a stop sign here, I got some buildings back here. Some houses over here. Curb over there. Curb here. You know, here's my type. That make sense?
And then do we have to have like the type on the thing yet, or is that later?
Place it, just what I just did. Oh, wait a minute, am I
Okay.
sharing my screen? I am, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
you
mean
are.
like if it's for like the business, right? Do we put like the business name on there or not yet?
You can put a placeholder, just put the word type, I don't care.
Okay.
I just want, here's the reason I do this. And I've done this, I've made this mistake. I do an illustration, hey, this looks cool. And then all of a sudden I realize I didn't put the type in. And then I'm like realizing there's nowhere to put the type in. You know what I
So
mean?
kind of just be conscientious of where we're gonna put the type with the
Whatever the
sketch.
elements are of an illustration, design, graphic design, whatever, be aware of what those elements are right from the beginning and make sure they're placed in and part of your design right from the thumbnail.